We are live. Let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we're back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. We have Chloe Hoecker. How's it going?
Pretty good. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you here. Glad to, I don't get a whole lot of Missouri musicians on the podcast for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. I haven't quite figured it out, but I know Missouri's got a really killer independent scene, so I need to...
We've got a lot of, there's a lot of music in Missouri, and it's kind of crazy. I feel like I can get, Tennessee's obviously got Nashville, but Missouri's just everywhere. There's just music everywhere. Sorry if you hear my dog.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Because let's see, I think the last person, and I have a hard time considering St. Louis to be a part of Missouri, but it technically is.
Yeah.
I feel like St. Louis, like Chicago, is in the same vein of St. Louis is kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
But I've always had a huge fondness for Missouri. I lived in Illinois my entire life, and so Missouri was always
right there.
Right there. So yeah.
Yep.
So you're born and raised in Missouri?
Yeah, I still live where I was raised. I still live with my parents, so.
Nice. So growing up in Missouri, who introduced you to music? Was that something your parents did, or is that something you kind of found on your own?
Nobody in my family, immediate or distant, does music of any kind. So it just was kind of just something I don't know, when I was little, I was like, that's what I want to do. And I always just enjoyed singing. And my dad got me guitar lessons and made it happen. Without knowing anything about, the industry and how to go about it at all. Like, he had a couple friends that knew a little bit about it, but I don't know really where the desire came from.
Right. And so it was just something that appealed to you, kind of?
Yeah.
When did you kind of realize that, you could sing? Was that something that you kind of always knew, or was that something that just kind of developed over time?
I wouldn't say I was ever good at singing when I was little, but I'd sing in the shower every night, and my parents would be like, oh, that sounds good. And I'm like, well, they're my parents. So, and I don't think I ever thought I was that good at it until I got older, but I always loved it. And so I was like, I'm just going to keep doing it because I like doing it. And then eventually, I feel like there was a year span where my voice just got really strong, and I felt like I found, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm actually kind of good at this, But it took a while, but I just know I always like to do it. So
fair. And when you started writing your own music and having that switch moment of okay, I'm doing this for fun or just because I like doing it, to, hey, I want to pursue this as a potential career path. Did you always know what kind of music you wanted to make, or was there a trial and error process? Was there a death metal thing that you were trying to do at one point? Yeah.
It was always country music. That's what I grew up on, and that's what I love. That's what I love listening to. And of course, there's so many subgenres in country music, and I still don't know, where I fit. I feel like I could try them all out, and that'd be just fine. But country music is always what I've wanted to do, and that's what I'm doing. So,
okay. So who'd you grow up listening to?
A lot of Miranda Lambert. I love Johnny Cash too. Casey Musgraves. Obviously I listened to, all of whoever my dad listened to, really, all the classic country, but those are my big three. And then another, in the past few years, I have really found the music I love listening to, which is more of that Texas country, Americana type country. And this one girl, her name's Caitlin Butts. I don't know if you know her, but she's a big inspiration lately. But when I was littler, obviously I didn't know who that was. But yeah.
Fair. No, when I was listening to your music a couple days ago, like when I first like really started diving into your stuff, preparing for the podcast, it just felt like because at that I knew obviously you were from Missouri because the name of your
Mhm.
most recent single is Missouri River Run. And I was like, well, I'm guessing she's from Missouri at that, kind of at that point. But like just listening to it, I was like, man, this would work really well in like those Texas dance halls. Like just like you put a big old band behind it and like all this music just really works. So
Well, yeah. So I play with the band sometimes. Like we're playing at a honky tonk this Friday, and at the Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri is a big party
mhm.
spot. But my aunts and uncles, they love to dance and stuff. So like I've been doing that song with the band live, and they're like, "This song is great for dancing. This is amazing." And it's I feel like these days it's kind of hard to write a good dancing song. You
Right.
play all the oldies for that sort of thing. But yeah.
Mhm. Right, for sure. And now, is Lake of the Ozarks, is that the general area you're based out of, or?
I live between the Lake of the Ozarks and Jefferson City, the capital.
Mhm.
So I'm like, those are like the main two. Like in the summer, the Lake of the Ozarks is like the beach of Missouri. So like everybody's at the lake in the summer, and there's like a million different live music venues. So like I'm there 5 days a week at least,
Mhm.
playing 4-hour shows, whatever.
Right.
And that's the main summer spot for sure. But I'm just anywhere in Missouri, but that's the main one.
Okay, fair enough. That's cool. It's yeah, I keep getting because I have a few musicians that I work with that are in Branson, and they're like, "Come to
Yeah,
Branson, come to Branson."
Branson's another big one, but it's a little farther south than where I
Yeah,
am. So
right. Well, so like I said, I grew up in Illinois, and I went to school in Southern Illinois, so I grew
mm,
up or lived there. And actually, I thought I was going to go into like Cape Girardeau in that area and
yeah,
just like I guess southeast Missouri. Um, but it never ended up happening. But like Missouri's always been really cool. Like I like driving
yeah,
through Missouri. It's I think you have a line in your song about that, don't you? Just
yeah,
driving through Missouri or whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Driven
uh,
through, yeah,
yeah. Uh, but yeah, no, Missouri's really cool, and I'm glad that like the music scene there is like seems to really be thriving, and it helps
yeah.
that you have places like Branson, Jefferson City, and Lake of the Ozarks that are just kind of like I'm guessing they're like the real pillars of the music scene.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I feel like in most of the big cities in general in Missouri, they're pretty good, but like the lake for sure, and then Branson for sure.
Hmm.
And Jefferson City is a much smaller place than both of those, but
Hmm.
I don't know. They are very good about like promoting the live music scene. Like it seems like a
Hmm.
really important thing in Jeff City, so that's kind of
Nice.
cool. But
I dig
yeah,
it. That's cool. So looking at your most recent single, Missouri River Runs,
yeah,
you just dropped that about, it's coming up on a month, right?
I think so. Yeah, let's see. Like what day is it? I don't even
It's
know.
the
Yeah,
18th.
about a month. About a
Yeah.
month.
What's the story behind this song?
um. Well, to like, I was just like sitting in my room one day, like it's not that interesting, and I was like, okay, I need to get a song written, like because it's what you got to do. Sometimes if you're not feeling creative, you just gotta be like, okay, well, I just need to sit down and do it.
Right.
I was like, I need to write something fun because I'm really good at writing depressing music. So I was like, okay, I need to write something fun. And I was just sitting there thinking for about an hour with nothing written down, just thinking. And I was like, okay. I think I had like read something like that day about Tom Sawyer or something, and that got me thinking about just like Mark Twain. I was like, well, he's like the Missouri, like, author or whatever. And I was like, Missouri, and then all these Missouri things. I was like, what if I just write a song about Missouri? So I just started making a list of every single thing I could think of that's like related to Missouri or like
Hmm.
people in Missouri would relate to. And yeah, literally just that list. And then So I had like all the verses that, because they're just kind of a lot of words, just like a bunch of things thrown in there, and then just wrote a catchy chorus, and I had a little bit of help writing the intro.
Hmm.
And yeah, I didn't put like an insane amount of thought into it, but it turned out really fun. So
Fair. Did you record that in Missouri, or did you go down to like Nashville or
uh,
something?
yeah, I go to Nashville to record. So yeah, I
Nice.
don't know what the time span was between writing it and recording it, but a few months
Fair.
probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair, fair. So for the music video, because I was watching the music video before you jumped on here, how long did the hat scene take?
Oh, honestly, that wasn't that bad. That didn't take
Really?
that
Okay.
long. I had my cousin, she was there helping me, throwing them at me, and then I
Yeah.
threw them at the other guy.
Yeah.
And then the thing that took the longest was her throwing the fiddle at me and me catching it in a way
Uh,
that I could quickly, and
yeah.
I still messed that up a little bit. But if you couldn't tell, the music video is very DIY. Like
Mm,
I put it together, I edited it. It's
right.
nothing special, but it's something. Because I had a bunch of people tell me that their kids love to listen to my music, but they want to watch a video with it. I was
Fair.
like, okay, I'll put together a video. So yeah,
Nice. Because I was watching, I saw the fiddle part, and for whatever reason, it didn't register in my brain that that one would also take a lot longer than the
yeah,
hat scene. But just for me, because I was sitting there, I was like, all the coordination for that hat scene. And then you had like this look at the end where you just kind of like had this like, oh, finally, this is over. Like, this is over. And I'm like, I have a feeling that took forever to like catch a hat, put it on, take it off, throw it,
yeah. I mean, it definitely took a few tries, but like the fiddle one took longer.
Fair, fair, fair. I'm actually surprised that you didn't just try and like fake that one because I'd be afraid to like toss the fiddle like that.
Well, so I have a fiddle I bought when I was like, who knows, 13. I was like, I'm gonna learn to play this. I tried for like a week. And I was like, never mind, this is too hard. And it's like the cheapest thing ever. It's already kind of, the bridge is messed up. So it's like, if I drop this, honestly, I don't think it's gonna be much worse than what it already is. So it wasn't anything expensive, but
Fair. So
yeah.
fiddle wasn't your first instrument?
Oh, I do not play the fiddle.
No.
No. No, I wish I could because it's like my favorite instrument, but I'm not like the most amazing instrumentalist in the world. Like I play guitar so that I can sing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm a pretty good rhythmist now, but like I can't do lead. I'm not, yeah, that instruments are not my main thing. Singing is my main thing, singing and songwriting. But, um, if I could play the fiddle, that would be amazing because I love it. But I have so much, like, I'm just in awe of everybody that could play the fiddle because watching them, like, I don't know how you do that. I don't know.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I actually, during the pandemic, I tried to learn, I was going to teach myself how to learn to play fiddle.
Yeah.
Because the job I had or that I have, I still work there. The general manager, he was like, well, since everybody's going to be home, he had bought like a year subscription to one of those like online course
Oh, yeah.
conglomerates where it's like you just search and it'll teach you how to do things. Um, and I was just like, oh, and he sent out like the password and login information to everyone. And I'm like, okay. So I was just like, learn how to play the fiddle. And it was just like, okay, cool. And then I just never ended up buying like a fiddle. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's definitely, I've heard it's the hardest one to learn. So
right.
it
Well,
takes some dedication.
yeah, because like when we first started doing live and amplified, we did a lot of bluegrass music. We'd go down to Florida every year and we do a lot of bluegrass. And I just sit there and watch these fiddle players just go to town. And I'm like, I don't know what you guys are doing or how you're doing it, but that's incredible. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it is what it is. So with Missouri River runs out now, like what's the plan for the rest of the year? Are you like building towards a bigger project? Are you kind of staying singles? What's kind of the thought process?
So I have 5 other songs done and recorded that my plan is just to release them as singles because like as an independent artist it's kind of like the best way to grow, just keep doing singles and promote each one separately. But I would eventually love to have an album, but I don't think that's a this year thing.
Mm,
It's expensive to pay for recording, so
right,
I've got the
right.
5. I'm gonna try to space them out every 2 months or something.
Mm,
So I've got my dog. Okay. My next one, it'll be, let's see, yeah, it'll be next month before that comes out,
Nice.
but I don't know the day or anything, but just
Okay.
the singles for now, but I've got them lined up. So,
Nice. It's, that's always the hardest question and the hardest thing to kind of figure out because it's like, unless you're out touring constantly, like doing like 3 month road trips or like just
yeah.
playing out in front of new crowds all the time, like an album is a very hard thing to justify.
Hmm.
But like, if you're like, I mean, I'm assuming you're playing pretty consistently, right?
I mean, yeah, in the winter, I play at least 3 shows a week, and then in the summer, it's like 5 to 6. So, I mean, but it's like I'm mostly in Missouri.
Hmm.
I'm just some of the same places, but you know,
Yeah.
but
Is it a,
it is full time. So, yeah.
yeah. Is it a lot of the same type of people? Like as far as people you listen to, are they just there to, kind of hang out and catch the vibes, or is it more of they're like there to see you?
Um, it's kind of both. I mean, there's a lot of, so there's some places I'll play, once a month, the same place, and I'll have like the regular people come and because they like listening to me or whatever. And there's like some places I play, like tonight, the place I play there almost every Tuesday. And it's a lot of the same people because I guess they like listening to me. But then like at the lake crowds, that's like
Hmm.
a bunch of people just kind of partying it up. It's like kind of wealthier people. It's like their vacation time at the lake. And that's where I get a lot of new followers in the summer
Nice.
at the lake because it's just kind of always a different crowd there. So,
Nice.
but
That's
yeah, I mean, I see a lot of the same people, but then you know, mix of
hey,
both.
but those people that you see consistently, that those are the ones that'll support just about anything you do. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's really cool.
it's always cool to see familiar faces for sure.
Hmm. So you said you primarily play around Missouri. Do you get outside of Missouri often, or is it just kind of like whenever there's an opportunity?
Whenever there's an opportunity, because well, so the band I play with sometimes, like they're not like my band, it's like a different band, but like we'll
Mhm.
play some of my original stuff too. Um, so we were just like in Illinois a couple weeks ago, and I think we're going back in May back to
Mhm.
Illinois, and they do Kansas sometimes, and um, so it's cool to travel with them. And then, but me, like as a solo artist, I mostly am just in Missouri. But I think within the year, I will have my own band,
Mhm.
and so hopefully, like next year, I can do more like out of the state stuff because I love to travel too. So I think it'd be so much fun. But
Nice.
you know,
Can I just compliment you for a second and thank you for keeping the S silent in Illinois? I
someone the other day said Illinois, and I just wanted to correct them so bad, and I was like,
right.
oh.
And like ever since I left in 2012, I moved out of Illinois in 2012. Everywhere I go, that S is just so predominant, and it's like
Yeah. I'm
it's
like, did
not
they not teach you?
Illinois.
Oh,
You stop it, please. And it's
yeah.
like I can't correct them because they've been doing it their entire lives, and it's
Mhm.
just like
Yeah.
so. Anyways,
Yeah.
it's still a pet peeve of mine. It still gets me every time. So
I get you.
yeah. So kind of looking forward, you got your show tonight. I'm guessing things are starting to pick up right now as far as like crowds and whatnot, because you're kind of entering that it's probably not warm enough to be out on the water, but you're starting to get
Yeah.
some people that are crazy enough to do it.
Yeah. Well, so like in the winter, I don't play like at the Lake of the Ozarks a
Hmm.
lot where it's all those places on the water and stuff
Hmm.
because they all close down for the winter.
Hmm.
So they will open back up in May, and then
Yeah.
like May to September, my schedule is like crazy, like booked out. But you do, even just the places that aren't at the lake, like once it starts getting warmer, people are just like, okay, we'll leave our houses now. So yeah, we're
Right. Okay.
we're getting to that point.
Now, have you since that show Ozark came out, have you seen like a bump of people, or is it just kind of
Oh, I have not watched that show, but I've
okay?
heard of it. Um, I don't know that I've When did it? Do you know when it came out?
It would have been like I know they had a new season that came out in like 2019.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the lake is always pretty crazy busy, so if there was any more people, I
It,
I
yeah.
probably wouldn't have noticed because it's already
Fair.
it's already pretty full. But yeah.
That's fair. That's very fair. I figured I'd ask because during the pandemic I went on a big Ozark kick and I was just
Yeah,
like, I love it. So
yeah.
um
I do get a lot of people like ask about that show. Like if I go to like Nashville, they'll be like, "Oh, so you like Ozark or what?" I'm like, I don't, I don't know what the show's about. So,
right. Right. But
yeah.
it so kind of where do you find yourself creatively right now? Obviously you'd mentioned that you have like, 5 songs that are kind of ready to get released. Do you find
Mhm.
now that you've got that kind of in your back pocket, you have the availability to be more creative as far as like writing? Are you being like inspired to write right now, or are you kind of more focused on gigs?
Um. So like I would say like I write better when I'm sad and I feel like I haven't been sad in the past 6 months like that, you know? So it's been harder for me to write anything. So like for a few months there I didn't write a single
Mm,
thing. But I had, I was busy recording gigs and everything. So it's like it's okay. I've got songs like built up. I don't need to write too much right now anyways. I'll give myself a mental break and figure it out. But like these past couple weeks I have been trying to get more into the groove of writing again and like kind of just experimenting with different writing
mm,
because I'm not sad and I'm like I don't know how to write if I'm not sad. And um so that's been fun, just kind of experimenting with different, like, a different kind of writing process than what I normally would do, and just like kind of making up these different stories because I would say all my other songs are very based on my life and what happened to me. And now I'm just like, okay, how can I like make some fun songs that have like just these made up people, made up stories, like, and that's been fun. So past couple weeks I'm a little more on it, but
fair.
not
Perfect.
as much as I should be, but I'm getting there.
Hey, but you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, so that's like
Yeah.
that's a huge win right there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
Trying to.
right? Fair,
Yeah.
fair. Outside of music, what do you like to do? What do you do to kind of decompress or, kind of whatever?
Um, well, when it's cold outside, don't like to go outside much, but I mean, I still go on walks like every day, no matter how cold it is, because I have a little wiener dog. You heard him barking, so I like to take him on walks. And then I've been liking to do puzzles recently.
Nice.
That calms me. Um, and now that it is getting warmer, though, I've been um, doing some fishing. And in the summer, I'm big on kayaking. I love
Yes.
kayaking. Um, been doing some roller skating. I love baking and cooking, so I feel like I kind of do that a lot too. I have I like scrapbooking. I don't know. I do a lot of like really I pick up things and then I kind of forget about them for a while and then pick them back up later, but lots of random things.
It happens. I'm all for it, because I'm a big believer in the fact that try everything once and
Hmm.
stuff that you not to say that you're not passionate about it, but stuff that like really has an impact on you and are really passionate about, they'll kind of always stick around or come back
Yeah,
into your
yeah,
life. And it's like, like you'll because I've definitely fallen into that thing where it's like I convinced myself that I like to do something, and then 6 months in, it's like I stopped doing it just because for whatever
yeah,
reason, and then I just never do it again. So
yeah. I get that.
fair. What do you like to bake and cook? Like, is it all just
Um,
home stuff, or what do you like?
I mean, I would say I like baking way more than cooking, but
Fair.
I gotta eat more than sweets, so cooking's just kind of something I gotta do.
Overrated. So
Yeah. But baking, I love making any kind of cookies. Honestly, I love just experimenting with any new baking
yeah,
recipes. I think it's so much fun, and I have a major sweet tooth, so
fair.
I will eat any of it. But yeah, cookies for
Fair.
sure. Any type of cookies.
I started baking because I got on this kick where I didn't want to eat all this prepackaged all these prepackaged foods with all these
Mhm.
preservatives and stuff. And so I started experimenting with different things, except I didn't know how to do portion control.
Yeah.
So it's like I'll make this stuff, but then I have enough food for like a week and a half. And then by the
Yeah.
time I get like halfway through it, it's like the food's either bad because it's spoiled, or it's like I've had pancakes for the last 4 days. I don't want pancakes anymore because I made
Yeah.
homemade batter and there's just so much batter.
Yeah.
So I'm currently trying to figure that out and how to
I
kind
feel
of
like I never
portion,
make enough. Like
right?
making too much, I feel like I just never make enough and it's like gone. I'm like, dang, I should have made more so I could have ate it all week, you know?
Right. Well, and like I have that problem too, where like I've got this muffin recipe, like, and I'll make it in the morning or whatever, and by the afternoon, it's like I make them to be like, okay, these will last for a few days, so I'll have like something quick to eat in the morning to go out the door or whatever,
Hmm.
and by the end of the night, they're all gone because it's like, oh, I eat five in the morning and then there's
Yeah.
only like six left. And it's like, well, I need a snack after work. And then after I eat dinner, it's like, oh, I need a dessert. So let's eat the rest of these muffins. So,
Yeah, I get that.
yeah,
It's hard not to just eat them all. But
right, right. But, that's definitely, that was something that I was very passionate about early on. And then I kind of dropped it. And over the last like 3 months, it's like really started to work its way back in. So
yeah,
it's
so
a
maybe
whole,
it'll stick around.
yeah. Oh, yeah. So kind of looking forward, you said you got another single dropping next month. Do you know
Mhm.
what song it is, or are you still trying to figure that out as well?
Yes, I do know what song it is now. I kind of like all the rest of them. I have no. I'm just like going one by one. I'll figure the next one out after this
Fair,
one's done, getting
fair.
out there. But I think I finally decided on one, and I've got someone wanted to another local musician. He said he's got a camera. He wanted to try to like do a YouTube video thing. So it's like, oh, just like do the song I'm going to put out, and that way I have some more content for that because I've been trying to be really consistent
Yeah,
with the content. It seems to help. It
yeah,
does. I
it
used to be
does.
very inconsistent, but now I'm like posting at least on TikTok every day. I try to post on Instagram every day and Facebook, and they're kind of
Mhm.
connected or whatever. But been getting more exposure, so I think it's working.
Nice, fair.
It's not what I signed up for, but it's fun sometimes.
Right? It's something to think about, and I've been telling a lot of musicians to try it, and I'm kind of waiting to start seeing it pop up. But um, for like when you get ready to like really promote this song, I don't know if you have like an instrumental of just like the no lyrics, just like a straight instrumental of this song, but like doing like just regular social media videos, like a get ready with me or, like whatever it is,
Yeah.
just kind of, it doesn't even necessarily have to be like music related, but take the instrumental of your next song and just kind of lay it under whatever videos you do to kind of get people subconsciously
Yeah.
aware of a new song coming. So,
Yeah, I do a lot of like I like to do like a get dressed with me because I feel like I try to incorporate everything I like into my social media. So
mhm,
I like posting my outfits and stuff is a big thing. So I a lot of times will put my songs behind it, and
mhm.
it's not just the instrumentals though. So I don't know if
Yeah.
that makes a difference or not, but I try to work them in there when I can.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's because in my head, it's more of like for songs that aren't out yet. And so it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
especially when you're gearing up for like a big release or a new release, it's like just kind of subconsciously throwing in Easter eggs to be like to a nod to the people that like listen to all your music. Like, oh, I don't know what this is, but that sounds cool,
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's like I spend a lot of time on social media, like almost to the point that it's bad,
Yeah, me too.
but it's just like I'm trying to think of ways for musicians to kind of promote themselves, and it's just like,
Mhm.
yeah. So,
It's hard, but you got to do it.
mhm. What's been the hardest part of the social media game for you?
I just feel like just like kind of getting into the rhythm of doing it every day. It
Mm,
like feels like it takes like I spend so much time on this, on like making these videos, putting them together, and I'm like I didn't used to do that, but then I'm like, well, I mean it's part of the job, so it's like just another more work time, I
mm,
guess. But
yeah,
just yeah, getting used to taking the time to do it every single day.
right,
But
right,
yeah.
right. And it's one of those things where social media is changing so much right now, where it's becoming where I feel like prior to like the last 18 months or so, it was very much just get anything out you can.
Hmm.
Quality doesn't really matter. But now I feel like that quality matters.
Yeah.
So like taking that yes, you may not get 20 videos out a day or a week or whatever, but that one really good video will make all the difference.
Yeah. I will
So,
say like if like the videos I put together for that were like filmed with an actual camera,
mhm.
like they were maybe taken out of the music video I did, like they look more professional and everything, and I took the time to, sync up my
Mhm.
lips correctly to the music and like put on a fun outfit, whatever. Like those do so much better than just like here's my outfit today
Yeah,
and my song. But yeah.
fair. So for your music video, your new music video, was that all conceptualized by you, or did you work with somebody to help kind of come up with that?
It was pretty much just me. I have like the same guy I normally use that takes my pictures and does video stuff for me. And I was like, okay, I put together like a Google Doc. I was like, here's my idea. Here's where we need to go. I need some help like getting this together, but like this is the idea. So I pretty much thought of everything, and I was like, hopefully this like turns out how I'm hoping it will in my head. But
Right. Right, right.
yeah.
There was one point during the music video where I almost had a mild panic attack because I thought my computer was messing up. It like there was a point there where I think it was in the same like setting as like the hat scene where was it like a paper blue background or something that was just kind of like
Yeah.
moving in the background? Like it was just kind of like waving or going. Yeah.
Though well, the background was just like a blue sheet of
Yeah.
blue background. I don't know if it was ever moving or not.
Okay. I don't know. There
There
was a
was at one point where I was like spinning out of the frame when I was editing it, and for
Mhm.
some reason it mirrored me. Like it put me in there. Like once I got to a certain point on the screen, it mirrored me on the other side, and I was like, I didn't mean for that to happen, but it kind of looks cool, so I just
Yeah.
left it because I also
Yeah.
didn't know how to get it to undo that. But I was like,
Right.
it kind of looks cool, so I'll just leave it.
Sounds like there was an effect or something that was put into play that just
Yeah,
kind of
maybe.
hit. And then there's the one scene where I'm guessing you were probably at the lake or something where you kind of go sprinting across screen on what is it, like a boardwalk or something?
So that was in Columbia, which
Okay.
is Mizzou.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where Mizzou's at. I went there for a year and then I
Oh,
dropped out. But Columbia, there's a good access to the Missouri River there, and they have it's like along the Katy Trail, and they've got the
hmm.
bridge. So there was just a bridge at that access there, and
Yeah.
yeah, I just was like, okay, just get some footage of me just running back and forth across this. And every time I posted something with that clip in it, people were like, that made me laugh out loud because they weren't expecting it, I guess.
Right. It was just one of those things where it's like everything else was like felt very controlled like in the music video, and then there's just like this shot where it doesn't look like anything's in control.
Yeah.
And
Oh, it's just like the song's called Missouri River Run, so I have to run at some point, right?
right, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
very fair. Oh, I don't know. It was a great music video though. I absolutely
Thank
loved
you.
it, and the fact that it was DIY makes it that much better. So
I just try to kind of put something together for almost every song, even if it's like not great. Just
mm,
have something for. I know some people are visual people; they don't want to just look at one picture the entire time they're listening to something. So I was like, I've already made all these other little videos. I might as well put some of it together into music video. So
Nice. Now,
yeah,
are all the other little videos kind of the same aesthetic or?
yeah. They were all from the same like
Oh,
day, the same photo shoot, and same outfit, locations, and everything. I just kind of like did different parts of the song, and we took so much footage. I had a lot to work with, so I made a lot of videos. But I mean, those are the ones that helped me get a lot of followers and stuff on TikTok and stuff, and they've been doing pretty good. So
nice.
I still got a few more I need to post,
I
but
love
yeah.
it. I love it so much. Oh, so what's kind of the plan looking forward? Do you think you're going to stay in Missouri or do you have aspirations of going to like Nashville or something like that?
I don't. I really don't want to move to Nashville. Like, I know, I mean, that's what everybody does, but like, I don't think that I've ever wanted to do that really. It's
Hmm.
just that I love where I live and I don't really want to live in a city in general. I
Hmm.
love traveling though, so I'm like I will drive down to Nashville once a month if I need to, twice a month, whatever. Like it's not that far really. I drive so much, it's not that far.
Hmm.
And it's just there's a lot of musicians in Nashville, so like you don't make a lot of money, like you don't get paid there, which like that's not the most important thing, but you do have to make a living.
Hmm.
To do it full time. And I feel like I've been doing like pretty good in Missouri and there's a good music scene here. And now that I'm doing more like online, I'm reaching people outside of Missouri
Hmm.
too. And hopefully eventually I can just start traveling, you know,
Yeah.
to all different states and not just have to be in Nashville. But
Yeah.
because I feel like the amount of times I have traveled to Nashville, I have been, you know, just making connections every time I do that. So like I've still got people I know down there. I've met some people that are like from Missouri who live in Nashville that like we're probably going to like do some writing together in the
Mm.
future and it's just kind of cool. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm from Missouri too. We got to stick together, you know." And
Right.
so I don't I probably won't move to Nashville,
Hmm.
but I always love to visit. So,
For
yeah.
sure. That's kind of always a hard conversation to have because it's like Nashville. Yes, I'm sure there's a lot of positives to living in Nashville, where it's
Mhm.
like, you're around some of the best musicians to do it,
Yeah.
all that stuff. But it's like when you've got something really good and you're not hindered by like a full-time job that like anytime you want to go to Nashville, you can. It like I just don't see moving there being that much of a positive because
Yeah,
at
exactly.
at some point anybody you work with they they could be going out on tour like everybody I talk to that lives in Nashville, if I shoot them a message like, hey, what are you up to, it's like, oh, I'm in Maine or I'm in Chicago or I'm
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
just kind of like all this stuff, and it's like, okay, then why would I want to move to Nashville if everybody that I would like associate with is rarely ever there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
And I feel, you know, it's good for like if you're a songwriter, you any day you could have someone to write with, you know.
hmm.
There's not a lot of that in Missouri, I will say, but I also feel like a lot of like the writing in Nashville is like they've kind of got their own way of doing it,
Hmm.
and I feel like I have a different way of doing it,
Hmm.
and I have different inspiration.
Hmm.
I feel like being just staying where I am,
For sure.
and but you know, there's pros and cons to that. More people to write with, but it might change the way I write in a way I don't like or something. And anytime I want to, I can go down there, meet up with people, and I can write. But for now, I'll live here, not paying any rent. My family's here. Everybody I love is here. So,
Sure. If you ever
um,
get tired, come on down to Texas. Texas would love to have you. So,
see, I always thought that I was supposed to be born in Texas. Like, I've actually never been, except for when I was like a baby. My parents went there and took me, so I don't
hmm.
remember it. But I feel like I would fit in just fine in Texas.
Oh yeah, especially if you come into like come south come south of Dallas, but stay north of like Austin in like the area that I'm in,
Hmm.
you're fine. Like that's all I got to say to that one. So,
Yeah. And they've got, I mean, all my favorite music comes out of Texas. So,
That's fair.
yeah.
Who are you listening to right now? Who's got your ear?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, Caitlin Butts. I
Okay.
love her. She's from Oklahoma, but, you know, right in between Missouri and Texas. So, she's always number one. I'm trying to think like recently who I've been listening to. I mean, listening to a lot of Zach Top. I like kind of skipped him. Like I had known about him for years, and then like when he got like huge, I was like, oh well, I've already known about him. And now recently, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, well yeah, he's the real deal.
Right.
A lot of Billy Strings.
Oh, I love Billy Strings.
I've been really into bluegrass here recently. So him for sure. Ken Pomeroy, I don't know if you know
Okay.
her. She's out of Oklahoma as
Hmm.
well. She's got like native blood in her, so that's like a big thing for her. I
Hmm.
but very different style of music, but I love it. Willow Avalon. I don't know if you know her either.
Nope. That,
Um, but I just listen to everybody all the time. I'm always on like those country music pages where they post like the new music Friday. I'm like
yeah,
listening to every single thing on there. And yeah.
I dig
So
it. I absolutely dig it. So for Zach Top, what do you think of what is it? The Alan Jackson conspiracy theory, where was it Alan Jackson's his dad or something?
yeah, that's what people keep saying. I'm like,
Or-
I mean, I don't think so, but
Well, I was watching. What was it? I was on YouTube and I was watching this video where somebody went so far as to say that exactly nine, like they drew this like very long-winded conclusion that 9 months before Zach Top was born, Alan Jackson had a show in his hometown.
interesting.
Like this whole thing, like they drew out this whole conclusion, and I'm just like, this is like insanity. Yes, I see the thing, but it's like I see
Yeah,
the
but like,
resemblance, but
I'm sure he has parents. Like, we
right?
probably know, you know.
It's like, Dad, are you my dad? Yes or no?
I mean, maybe
But
they're lying. Who knows?
it's, but if I was Zach Top, I would like really lean into it. Like, just
Yeah,
figure
yeah,
out a
yeah.
way to like really lean into it and just see if, like, because I mean, you never know what your music career is going to do. And if you've got an opportunity like this to kind of like really lean into something and it's like make a little bit of extra money, go for it,
Yeah.
man. Do your thing. So,
Yeah, I feel like Lainey Wilson and Megan Maroney are both really good about that. Like when
yeah.
something happens on the internet, some like people just making up things, they really lean into it, and that's gotten them a lot more people to see them, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's
All
just
right.
funny, you
Oh
know.
yeah. What was the one that I saw? Oh, there was one that I saw that they were convinced Lainey Wilson was dying or had cancer or something because she was like touring so much. So like her entire she had like lost a bunch of
Yeah,
weight or something.
yeah,
Like
because
I
she
mean,
is like on the road like constantly,
yeah,
just
yeah.
running around the stage. Like I've seen her perform, like she's burning a lot of
Yeah,
calories.
like she had lost like a whole bunch of weight, and people were like, "Oh, she's got cancer, she's dying." And like, there's this video floating around that people were like convinced of this, and she had to like respond to it. And I'm like, oh, man, that sucks. I'm sorry you had to like physically respond to it. So,
Yeah, yeah. I
but
don't know if I saw that, but
yeah, it was a 2024 was a very interesting time
yeah.
for the interwebs. So,
Oh yeah,
but
for sure.
but I've absolutely enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much for taking time to sit down and chat with me.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to check out your music, all that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
Well, I mean, my name on everything, you know, on socials is just Chloe Hecker, and just look that same thing up on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, whatever. I will say I post on YouTube the least amount, but yeah, if you just want to listen to the music, it's on all the platforms, and I have fun posting things on all the social platforms too. So get to know me a little bit better if you follow me on those. But yeah.
Nice. Awesome. And then one thing that we do at the end of every podcast is we like to pass on a little bit of knowledge to the next generation of musicians.
Hmm.
So, what's a piece of advice you have for a young 12-year-old Missouri girl that wants to get into music?
I would just say that, like, at least this is how I look at it. Don't like put so much pressure on, or like put all your dreams and all the pressure into becoming this big star, because you never know, it might not happen. Like, if music's what you want to do, it's what you really want to do, and it's not the fame you're chasing.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have fun at any level you're at. Like, if I don't get any farther than what I am right now, I'll be totally happy, because I just love to sing, I love to play, and I'm doing it for a living, and that is all I could have ever asked for. And I've never had a big goal to be like, oh, get on the Grand Ole Opry or whatever. Like, my goal has always been just to do music, and that's what's gotten me farther, is to just keep doing it because I love it, not because I'm trying to get rich and famous or whatever.
Yeah.
And hard work, always. That's a big thing for my dad, is always instilled in my head, and so I feel like I've always been a hard worker, and I've always just kept at it, and I never gave up. So keep doing that.
100% agreed. I think hard work is the key to success, period.
Mm-hmm.
So, but once again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will catch you all later.